To start out, we're going to talk about my John Deere, and we're going to basically cover here is the operations center. But what my John Deere is, it's a one-stop shop for you guys to have all your information. So whether it be if you had JD Link equipped vehicles, Field Connect systems, and then also your operations center. With the JD Link tab, it's a quick link to JD Link where you can see your JD Link equipped vehicles. You can see different machine utilization tools that you can use for your tractors, combines, sprayers there. With Field Connect, that's our soil moisture probe, so you'll be able to monitor your probes from here with a quick link. The other one is JD Parts. That system you can actually get in there and search by part number. You can search equipment and find the part number. That can be linked back to whichever dealer you're tied to on whether or not they have that part in stock. And also you can order parts from here to the location level that you're tied to. I said we had the Operations Center. What the Operations Center is going to become in the future is kind of our transition from Apex to a web-based version of Apex, and that'll all be handled through the Operations Center. There's a few capabilities that we can do that you can do in Apex now, but the full function is not there. That is future things coming from John Deere. The stuff on the right-hand side, the NT pathways, the CNF, John Deere University, that is stuff that dealers see, so you guys would not necessarily see that on your My John Deere login. But if there's no questions with the quick links, I'm going to go ahead and jump in to the Operations Center, and we're going to do the dealer demo due to the fact that with ours, there are customers tied to our accounts, so we do have live data from certain growers. So we need to show the demo so we don't disperse some data for a grower. Once the screen pops up, it shows you these nice little areas on a satellite view, showing you what those are showing you is these are fields with boundaries or coverage. And you can see that we have this pink or peach, and you have blue. The blue is the application. You can see down here in the bottom left it tells us what the last operation is. And here you have a purple line. This is where that machine has traveled in the last 24 hours. So you can get an idea where your machines might be going to and from, how they're being utilized going down the road, and kind of where they've been, give you an idea. So with that, to start, you've got the fields. These are interior boundaries, whether they're passable or impassable, that you have created. So I guess to start out, we'll go ahead and jump in here. When you guys first set your account up, once you get your login, I'll have you go to the three dots to the organization. And what this is, you'll set up your organization. So as a grower and you've got 4 or 5 guys underneath you, you can go ahead and select that stuff here, so them special people can go ahead and view all this information that you're viewing. With that being said, we've also got just next to the staff, we've got this Partners tab. The Partners tab is you can see here that the John Deere dealer is there, their agronomy is there. The reason that we like to set this up when we're setting a grower up as the dealer being part of this is if you're having problems with receiving data to here, if you're using wireless data transfer or anything like that, we can kind of go in and see your account and see exactly what might be causing those files not to go back and forth. With the agronomy, your agronomist can go ahead and view fields, or if he's going to send you a prescription, things like that, he'll have that capability by being one of your partners. Another one we see usually being a partner is maybe an insurance agent being a partner with you. That way he can see your information as it comes into the Operations Center to view. So that's kind of quick basic setup of that. So from there, I'm going to go back to the map. And the first thing we're going to cover on the left-hand side of the screen is you've got the My Equipment tab. So you can select that. It's going to show you the equipment you have there, whether it's tractors, combines, or sprayers. Those will be JD Link equipped vehicles that you'll see there, so it'll be similar to the same vehicles that you would see in your JD Link account if they have the MTGs. So I'll go ahead and just select a machine here. And when you select that machine, it's going to give you the serial number, what the speed it was traveling, kind of what the fuel gauge looks like, what direction it's heading, and it's also going to give you this little timestamp of when that information was pulled. So then down here under the Information tab, you go in, you can look at if you've got an Ethernet cable and a display hooked up, we can see that information here. You can see alerts to that machine. These are the same alerts that you would see in JD Link. Go through remote display access. You can send files to this machine. Offsets and jobs. The offsets are the same thing as if you're setting up a tractor or a combine. Those offsets that you have there, these would be those same offsets. And jobs we'll talk about here in just a little bit, so we'll kind of skip over that for now. But that is the Machines tab. Seeing that information. Also at the bottom here you got remote display access if your machine's enabled. This is to send files. This little arrow is directions to that machine, so if you're trying to find a machine, whether it be a new operator, he's out there stuck somewhere, you can go in and get that information on how to get to him. So from there we'll close out of that. And on the left-hand side, underneath the tractor icon, we've got the deal that looks like a boundary with dots. Them are the fields that you can see on the right hand on the aerial image there. There's 3 different ways to get your field information to this portal. The first way is if you got MTG and JD Link equipped vehicles using wireless data transfer, where we change Client Farm and Field after we're done harvesting one, it automatically shoots it to the cloud and it loads in here. The other way is a CTS where your John Deere dealer can go ahead and do what we call an Apex backup. So any data you have in your Apex, whether it be from 2005 or from last year, depending on how far back you go with Apex, pulling that back up to the Operations Center or your My John Deere account, it's going to have all those fields here. All the documentation maps that you have will all show up here. So that backup's pretty useful. And with that, you can go ahead and select a field on the right-hand side, or you can pull the field up from your list of fields here. We'll go ahead and just select one. And it's going to be similar to what we showed with your equipment. It's going to show you what that machine or that field had been done last. So this one was planted on the 7th of May. It tells us what crop type it was and the area that was worked. At the bottom left, you've got the Details tab again. And with that, this is where John Deere is trying to start transitioning Apex to this more web-based application. So just to start out, on the left-hand side, you've got boundary management here. With that boundary management, you can see that this field currently has 1 boundary on it. If you had 3 boundaries, you would see 3 different boundaries here. If I scroll down here to the bottom, it's got an Edit tab. So now you can see that it's highlighted, it's irrigated, and I can delete it from here if I need be. If you got multiples and you've got some bad ones, you can delete it from there. We can also add a new boundary. When we say we're going to build a new boundary through here, the one thing to keep in mind is you're not going to go back out to the aerial image and create a boundary. So if I hit Add New Boundary, it's going to bring up a previous operation. So whether it be soybean harvest from 2012, depending on what coverage map you want to use as a boundary or utilize as a boundary, that's how that boundary is going to be created. Once you select that and hit Create, it's going to give you that boundary. You can name it. But that's how we're doing boundaries. Also, you've got Guidance Management over here. This tab is currently not functioning the way it will in the future, but you can see that this particular field has 3 different guidance lines, and they're all 3 AB curves. You can see the names of them and the dates them were created. Future capabilities are probably going to let us edit, add, delete, same thing that you can do with the boundary management. So that's future capabilities coming. Then you see jobs there. We'll cover on jobs here next, so we're going to skip over that. And then this merge and unmerge, you can merge fields and unmerge fields just like you currently can in your Apex software. So on the fields, you've got the details, and then you've got this field analyzer, is where you're probably going to spend most of your time using the Operations Center. So I'll go ahead and go to this field analyzer. With this, it shows previous data. So if you did an Apex backup since 2007, like this one here is, you're going to have all that information, whether it's seeding, harvest, your application maps, all that information will be here. So for instance, we'll go ahead and go to 2014, and we're going to look at their soybean yield. So you go in, it shows you a nice map on an aerial image. You can zoom in, you can zoom out of these maps. The other nice thing is you've got the legend over here on the bottom left. So if you want to look at the 25% of this field, the average of that, you can go ahead and select that one, and it's just going to show you those parts of the field. So depending on what you want to look at and see, that information's all there. Let me go back in there. There. So our map's back to where it was. Sorry about that. So from here, I know growers like to compare maps, whether it be 2013 to 2014 or however you guys are comparing maps. In Apex, it's not the most pleasant, and it's virtually impossible to compare a map side by side. So up here in the top left, you've got this Compare tab. When you select that Compare tab, it's going to pull up your list of those fields. So if you want to compare it to, obviously we're going to compare it to 2013 yield, you can go ahead and pull up that map, and you can see the difference, get ideas whether it's variety related, whether it's population related, if you did different fertilizer practices, so many different aptitudes of things that would create these maps to look different. You as a grower know what you've done in certain areas, so that information you can gather from there comparing those maps. We'll go ahead and close out of that comparison view. Up here in the top end right, where we got these 3 lines and the little upside down triangle, if we select that, we can create a PDF there. Creating that PDF, you can save it, email it off to your agronomist or insurance agent, however that is. And also with that map, you've got the map, you've got the legend, and you got your totals all on a single page. So you don't have 3 different pieces of paper for totals and a map and everything else for one field. It's all on one page, so it's kind of nice sending that information off if needed be. Also here you can do a post-calibration to this field. So you select post-calibration, you go in and add the information that you need there, hit calibrate, it's going to change your values. So that information's there and the capabilities. You can also look at your average yield map, your difference maps, whether it's corn or soybeans. So that information's there also. We're not going to touch on it too much. So I'm going to back out of this map here. And then obviously we've got the arrow down here again, which is directions to that field. So being as we talked about that, this is probably where you're going to spend most of your time viewing information, and as more things from Apex roll into the Operations Center in the future, doing prescriptions and different things like that you'll do all through here. So I'll go ahead and close this, and you can see on this map we've got these different icons. And what those different icons are also the icons over here. So for instance, this one, if I select it, this is seeding corn. The job had not been started yet. We can go, we'll select it and get the information. So this job plan, the operator, the owner, whoever built this, said they're seeding, what field, what crop they're doing, the name of the variety, the rate they're using, which equipment it's being sent to for that operator to acknowledge it, and then the different guidance lines and things you can add there. Different notes at the bottom for the operator in that machine, so he knows exactly what he needs to do when he gets to that field. The jobs also comes with an app that you'll download through the John Deere apps on having that in the machine, and we'll talk about apps a little later. But that's your jobs tab. After we talk about the jobs tab, over here on the left you got the products. This is where you're going to go in and add different products. Depending on what products you're going to use, you can search that product by name or company, add those products so you have certain products that you use compared to what other people use, so it's not just a list of every product, but it'll be specific to what you guys want. And also with these maps, this one here is what we would have used for SeedStar Mobile. And SeedStar Mobile is John Deere's version of what Precision's doing with an iPad. We have an iPad in the machine, and your planter's set up this way. We can go ahead and see row by row, pretty live time action of what that planter's doing through this field, whether it's singulation, whether it's ride quality, and different things like that. We can see that information pretty live from the computer. They've also got it Harvest Mobile. We can install into your combine, so we can see that information on the web as you're harvesting through the field also. If you have questions with that, go ahead and ask a CTS or one of your salesmen, and they can get you a little more information there. So zooming back out of this map, that is kind of the overview, a quick overview of the operations center, different things we can do with that. The last thing I want to show you under the three little dots is the My Files. And what the My Files is if you're using the mobile data transfer stick, or if you're using wireless data transfer, all that information being received back into the operations center, or if you're going to send a file from the operations center to a machine, this is the tab that's done. And so you can see that we have prescriptions here and different setup files. If you have a map that comes in here and you want to shoot it off to your agronomist, you go ahead and select that map, hit the share files, add that destination's email address in there, and we can shoot that information off. Just a quick overview of what the operations center is. If you have any questions, feel free to ask one of us here, or get a hold of your local CTS or salesman, and they can help you walk through this. So if there's no questions, appreciate your time.